Sexual offences against people with mental disorders are addressed under the Sexual Offences Act 2003 in the UK, which provides specific protections for individuals who may be particularly vulnerable due to a mental disorder. This legislation aims to safeguard those with diminished capacity from exploitation and abuse, recognizing that mental disorders can impair judgment, communication, and the ability to consent to sexual activity. Under the Sexual Offences Act 2003, a mental disorder is broadly defined as any disorder or disability of the mind. This includes conditions such as learning disabilities, mental illnesses, brain injuries, and neurological disorders that affect cognitive functioning. The Act recognizes that these individuals may not fully understand the nature of sexual acts or may not be able to consent meaningfully. The Act outlines several offences specifically related to people with a mental disorder, dividing them into two broad categories. Offence the individual lacks the capacity to consent. This category involves situations where the person cannot legally give consent due to their mental condition. It includes engaging in sexual activity with a person who lacks the mental capacity to consent. Section 30. Causing or inciting a person to engage in sexual activity. Section 31. And engaging in sexual activity in the presence of someone who lacks capacity. Section 32. These offences are treated seriously because the inability to understand or consent makes the person extremely vulnerable to exploitation. Offences involving inducement, threat, or deception. Even if a person with a mental disorder has the capacity to consent, it is illegal to induce or pressure them into sexual activity by taking advantage of their mental state. Section 34. This includes situations where the offender uses their position of trust or authority, such as caregivers or healthcare professionals, to exploit the vulnerable individual. The Act also specifically criminalizes sexual activity by individuals in a position of trust or authority over a person with a mental disorder. This includes healthcare providers, caregivers, or anyone responsible for the welfare of the individual. Sections 38 and 39 of the Act address this by making it an offence to engage in sexual activity with a person in their care, regardless of consent. The concept of consent is critical in the Sexual Offences Act 2003. The Act emphasizes that for consent to be valid, the person must have the capacity to understand the nature of the act without coercion or manipulation. Mental disorders may impact these factors, so the law aims to protect individuals who are less able to make informed decisions. Offences against individuals with mental disorders carry significant penalties, often mirroring those for other serious sexual offences. Sentences can range from several years in prison to life imprisonment, depending on the severity of the crime and the harm caused.